Yeah.
He's the Alpha, yeah, Alpha.
Yeah.
DJ Nick on the show. When you hear the trumpet or the flute, you know it's a battle. And they go to people in a tribe, and she don't battle. Like Mary, you are for you to put it on battle. When you are so easy, I'm in body. When they can't condemn them, you must man it up, and they condemn them. When don't you time for the them, and I didn't go down with
Greetings, man a man, the man them day in the place. So from Warren Point to Nick Grill, great to have you again with us. We know you have choices, but here you are with the mailbox here every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. unless it's a holiday. So we're looking at Journey with Reggae Part 2. I'm Kevin Bailey, my co-host Courtney Morris in the place, and we have a very special guest, which you will hear of shortly. Just want you to know this is the program where we challenge, encourage, and empower men to become all they were created to become. And the mailbox is brought to you today by Solid PVC Pipes, manufactured in Jamaica by Fosrich Company Limited.
Need to brighten up your dimly lit spaces while saving on electricity? Look no further. Fosrich is having an up to 50% off solar lighting sale from now until February 28th. Solar garden lamps, wall mounts, and solar flood lamps. Visit us in Kingston, Mandeville, Draxall, and Montego Bay. Call us at 876-937-5099. Don't miss this solar lighting sale from now until February 28th. Open Sundays, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yes, big sale there happening at Fosrich. And we want to give a shout out to all those who are working there at Fosrich Company Limited. Thank you for supporting us. So, gospel reggae is a unique and uplifting blend of Jamaican reggae music and Christian gospel themes. This genre emerged in the 1980s in Jamaica, where local musicians infused their traditional reggae rhythms with lyrics that celebrate their faith and express religious devotion. Gospel reggae has since spread across the world, attracting a diverse audience of both Christian believers and reggae music enthusiasts. May I tell you, its appeal lies in the way it combines rhythmic beats with inspiring messages of hope, redemption, and faith. The songs typically feature strong and soulful vocals, accompanied by the distinctive sound of the reggae drums and bass lines. I tell you, the lyrics of gospel reggae songs often reference biblical stories and teachings with messages of love, gratitude, and praise. Many of the songs also include call and response arrangements where the lead singer and audience exchange lines, creating an energetic and interactive atmosphere. Yes, you are here in the mailbox. This is the program designed for men with guests who are men, hosted by men, and it's aired every Wednesday unless it's a holiday at 5:30 p.m. right here on Love 101, the family station. It is the mailbox, and my co-host right here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Courtney Morrison here, along with Kevin Bailey. It is the mailbox, and we want to say to all our listeners, those watching us on Facebook and YouTube Live, also on TikTok, thanks for making it Love 101 and making it your station of choice. We're talking about the topic Journey with Reggae Part 2, and we do have an interesting program lined up for you. Our guests, I guarantee you, will ensure that that happens. We just want to say, while reggae music is most often associated with Rastafarianism, it is deeply rooted in the Christian church as well. Many artists have woven Christian themes into reggae music by combining it with elements of traditional hymns to praise the Lord in a uniquely Jamaican way. May I tell you, on the man, them love it, Kevin.
May I tell you, Courtney. And guess what? We are privileged, honored to have our very special guest this evening, Mr. Paul Barkley, veteran songwriter, producer, and founder of Catalyst Crew, among other hats that he wears sometimes. Wonder how his head hold all these hats. But we are going to be have a very informative, interactive conversation because this man know the history. He was very present, very active, and still continues to do so. Let me share a little bit about Mr. Paul Barkley. For those who do not know, he is the veteran songwriter, producer, and founder of Catalyst Crew. Paul Barkley, for over 30 years, gleaned the right experience and exposure as musical director, band leader of renowned talents like Judy Mott, Grace Thrillers, Carlene Davis, Papa San, Warrior King, and his own Catalyst Crew. Paul's love for the business of the music has led him to, among other things, hold a diploma in entertainment management. He's a past member of the board at the Record Industry Association of Jamaica, a former member of the steering committee for gospel at the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, that's JCDC. He was instrumental in the formation and is a founding board member of JGMN, Jamaica Gospel Music Network. He's also a past board member of the Jamaica Reggae Industry Association, JARIA, and a former director of Creative Production and Training Center, CPTC, Jam Vision TV, and Media Training Institute, MTI. Paul is the managing director of Catalyst Crew Productions, formerly Cats Jam Records and Paul B Publishing. He has written and produced for international acts such as Freddie McGregor, George Nooks, Luciana, Sherwin Gardner, Judith Gale, Tessan Chin, Judy Mott, Carlene Davis, DJ Nicholas, Prodigal Son, let me tell you, Kevin Downswell, Kay Morris, and more. In 2012, having served on the board of directors at JCAP for over 10 years, Paul was appointed chairman and also held the office of president of the Association of Caribbean Copyright Societies, ACCS. At present, as a copyright specialist, Paul Barkley offers management consultancy and content management services for a number of well-known artists and labels. Hey, Paul, welcome, brethren.
Greetings.
Greetings, sir. Good to have you. I'm happy you could have
What a
made it.
blessing. What a blessing. Yeah. Faces from early in the journey.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will not say young, don't it?
Young enough.
It's good to have you, Paul.
Yes.
It's good to have you. You know, when I heard that we were doing this program of Journey Through Reggae, I said, there's no way we could have not invited you. The other person wanted to try to have with us was Patrick Kitson. But you are good enough. You say you have on a hat already and it fits your head, so you can't wear the cap because the cap fits you. So you're good to go. Man, remember though, we want to hear from you. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at Love 101 FM Jamaica. Remember, you can leave your comments via our WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125 or call our studio lines at 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. Also, we're on TikTok at Love 101 FM Jamaica. We're ready for the program, Kev?
Yeah, man. We have to go right tonight, But just want to remind our ladies, we want you to answer this question, ladies. Is gospel music given much attention in this present era as a tool for reaching men? We want to hear from you, ladies, because we're asking you not to call. We're asking you not to leave voice notes. Just encourage the man them. This is their safe space. But you can participate by answering that question. Is gospel music given much attention in this present era as a tool for reaching men? You can participate in the program by leaving us a message via WhatsApp, Facebook, and YouTube. Yeah.
Yo, things are going to go on today. Paul, how come you look so much younger than normal? You're going with things from behind the scenes, but we don't say nothing. But before we head into the main section, Paul, we want to say it's time for a section that we call Draft, DRAFT, Direct Response, for the featured theme. We're preliminary open the way to our main segment. So the same question we want to pose to you, tell us yes or no, with a little explanation, of course. Is gospel music given much attention in this present era as a tool for reaching men? Yes or no?
No. And the primary reason for that is that in Jamaica and probably worldwide, but speaking of Jamaica, on a large scale, the church is not serious about evangelism on a certain level. And to explain that, and beg you, that happens over the years, and not bashing the church, we're trying to find a pathway to some solutions. So when I say the church is not serious about evangelism, in a certain way, the church, and if you listen to the songs of the church and the popular songs that we promulgate, it supports Christians who want to manage the journey as a Christian. Those praise and worship songs, they support persons living a better Christian lives. If you go into the average church and take, just write down all the songs that you heard for that service, put on one side spiritual growth and development, put on another side evangelism, and see the ratio in terms of the songs. So to answer your question directly now, when we have Squash and Vibes Cartel and I'm not saying that these guys are all negative, but we all have concerns about secular music, dancehall music, and we also have a duty, as Matthew 28 says, to go ye into all the world and teach all nations, encouraging them to come. What is the focus if that is the main, the Great Commission is to go and teach? When you look into our communities that has a lot of churches, there's no doubt that there's more than enough work. But are we seeing the result of that work? And again, I emphasize, I am not saying for God's sake that the church is not doing anything. But what is your target? What is your mission? What is your target? Is your target to use this God-given music that no other nation on earth has given the world what we have given them? One. Two, our music has opened the door in every nation. Go into all the world and teach and what? Speak to the nations. So our music has opened the door into all the world. But yet, even from our local space, we are not using the music. And there's a reason for that, but that we could probably address that further down in the conversation.
Wow, thank you so much. What a opening statement here. A lot of questions come to mind, and we'll be looking at some of them. Already,
Hey, Kev,
yeah.
Kev, you know, though he said something that we as ministers in the ministers fraternal were speaking to the other day. The scripture says the harvest is truly ripe, but the laborers are few. But what we tend to complain about is the harvest, instead of looking at ourselves as a church, seeing that the prayer is about us to go out to carry in what is there, and somehow we missed it. You know, it has been quite a big discussion in recent. So I understand when Paul talks about evangelism there and what we have to do, you know, as a church.
It now begs the question. Yes, Courtney. Before we go off and break, I'd love to get Paul's perspective on why is it that we have this gift that God has given us to the world and we're not using it to reach people? Why is it that we are overlooking the elephant in the room, Paul?
With no money, Paul can't answer that now. Paul, I'll take longer than the thing. Better we go for a break and come back.
Yeah,
This is so. What we need to look at that elephant. This is a mailbox. I'm Pastor Courtney Morris, sitting in with Kevin Bailey. We're co-hosts for the past 12 years. Paul Bartley is here with us, and we're talking about Journey with Reggae Part 2. We'll soon come back.
Man, yes, strong man, integrity man.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust. committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Will that be cash or card?
Card.
You have a supermarket card from Flow too?
Yes. It's just like Flow paying for my groceries.
Sign up for Yard and Road for only $6,300 plus GCT, and you too can get a $10,000 supermarket card. Get Yard and Road, the plan that pays you back. Conditions apply.
Need to brighten up your dimly lit spaces while saving on electricity? Look no further. Phosphorage is having an up to 50% off solar lighting sale from now until February 28th. Solar garden lamps, wall mounts, and the solar flood lamps. Visit us in Kingston, Mandeville, Draxall, and Montego Bay. Call us at 876-937-5099. Don't miss this solar lighting sale from now until February 28th. Open Sundays, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Welcome back to those listening in on the air, as well as those viewing us by Facebook and YouTube. It is the Mailbox. I'm Courtney Morrison, along with Kevin Bailey. Our guest today is Paul Catalyst Bartley. If you want to know Catalyst crew from when, and indeed he's a great publisher, songwriter, you name it, all gamut of the music industry he has been a part of. But before we went for the break, Kevin was talking about the white elephant. Shoot your shot again, Kev.
Yes, Paul, just for those who are listening, we are having this conversation with Paul Barkley. And the question is, we have this gift, we have this tool, nobody else has it, and we know the Great Commission going to the world, but we're not using it on a wide scale. Why? Why? Your thoughts on that, Paul?
Yes, and just to support one point of your question, we also need to figure out as we try to work it out. Just today, Miranda Curtis in Reggae Month dropped a reggae song. It's on my profile. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I said, bup, bup, bup. Anyway, maybe I can't bust my shot here. But the question is, why is this little rock? Why has this little rock given the world? Let's stick with just roots reggae for now. Roots reggae and dancehall. And it is in the top 3 most popular music forms in the world. The secular version of this music that God has given us as Jamaican. But think about it. Reggae gospel technically is not even on the radar. In other words, if even from an income standpoint, all the musicians in Jamaica earn $1,000 from music globally, reggae is not even making 0.5 cents from that $1,000. If you understand what I'm saying. So either way you look at it, you can think about that as to why we are not utilizing it locally and overseas. My thoughts are reggae music, especially in its original form as it came from Mentos, Ska, Rocksteady to reggae, it was deeply rooted in the consciousness era. So you have a lot of consciousness, you have a lot of social commentary. Those were the days of coming out of Marcus Garvey into the renowned Michael Manley, a lot of ideologies. So the music came out of that era where we spoke about current affairs, anything that is happening locally and overseas, we had a voice. But guess what? Reggae is deeply rooted and marketed mainly by Rastafarians, while those of us who know the truth, Rastafarianism is deeply rooted in the Bible. So I used to be confused when I hear some dancehall artists, I use the Bible and I burn God. It's crazy. And I don't want to call a name because some of them are my brethren. I'm going to tell them, You say, but you use the Bible and about Jesus. You say, greetings in the name of the Lord, and then quote 2 Psalms, where the Psalms came from the Bible, from the tenets of Christianity. Haile Selassie, when he came to Jamaica, he heard and was kind of peeved and upset that they were seeing him as a god. And the reason why, before Bob died, he baptized in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. The reason why he could do that is that when Haile Selassie went back to Africa, he made sure that the Ethiopian Orthodox Church came to Jamaica because he wanted to make sure that he pointed them to Jesus Christ. That is the truth, irrefutable. But man, about it, we say anything. Now, so when the church sees all of this popularity now going on, and especially Rastafarianism that they are so afraid of, not only from a religious point of view now, remember that the powers that be about you beat up some Rastaman and hurt them and run them out of them community and call them natty, this and dirty boy and those things. Yeah. I'm just referring to the truth. Now, if society and the powers that be treat them like that, can you imagine when I am now reformed and took on the European style of Christianity? How would I feel about them Monday? Especially coming on to our era when them hear some of them about Jesus. So I was very privileged recently to be invited to some of the stakeholders in gospel. Some of the big men, movers and shakers in gospel, including the clergy, to meet with the clergy. And you would be surprised that even out of the clergy, I've been talking straight all my life, so I can continue. Even out of the clergy, in the room, they recognized, they were saying it, that the biggest hindrance to what we're talking about is the church itself. And I mean, and if I don't want to name, I know that Bishop brought back his broad. So he can take it if I need to say it. I heard him some years ago at one of the functions that Nadine Blair had, the monthly functions. And I may be saying who it is now. The Reverend said, praise and worship music can't lead people. It's not designed, not can't. It's not designed to lead people to Christ, which is the evangelistic part. But if you check the tenets of what the pure reggae music is about, carrying a message, social commentary, and all of those things, it is more designed to take a message to a particular culture than praise and worship music that focuses mainly on my relationship. For thou, O Lord, art high and all the earth. The community not coming at that yet, you know. We praise thee, O Lord. That not see me neighbor yet, that I have some challenges with. So all of this music is vertical, whereas the evangelistic type music and the music that is more geared to outreach is vertical between me and my brethren. So you find a DJ Nicholas song might more fit with me and my brethren, or even Papa San. What is happening between me and my brethren? When you go to the praise and worship songs now, it is largely building up the Christian community and helping us with our Christian lives. So I believe the main hindrance to us using this great music form is really the body to which we belong. No one in particular, just the outlook of the church. Do you know that having toured and having interacted with a number of gospel artists, there are artists that live here and go to a country overseas. And do you know that even though they know that the people over there want reggae, because they know there'll be video in the show, they are concerned that their church back home may see them doing reggae music, even though the persons overseas invite them to do that. It's very crazy. Whenever we are serious, I think we can do something about it. I'm in this long enough, and I can tell you that I have hope, some hope still, but I don't think we are serious about it. I hope that addresses it.
Aye. You know,
No.
Kevin, I'm happy to have somebody like Paul on the show because even when gospel reggae started out, those were the days when I was special program coordinator for Kingston Youth for Christ.
Yeah.
And
Genesis.
when I introduced reggae, rap, DJ into Talents for Christ, I was told that I backslid. So Kingston introduced, and we also introduced dub poetry, and those were the days when Kevin and Robin was
Yes.
doing dub
Yeah.
poetry. But I love what you said. It is true. We tend to embrace the European styles and not even our own format because the resistance, especially when it came on to Fellowship Tabernacle Portmore, and this
Yes.
was how, and I want us to see it, how Fellowship Tabernacle became a youth-oriented church. Is Omari and Prodigal Son and them things we use for praise and worship.
Yeah.
Man a step. You know,
Right.
the question is, and I know I want to
Hey,
learn some more about it.
Queenie, Queenie.
Yes. Yes.
Let's take the voice note in studio and ask Paul to respond to Brother Arnold. So let's have the voice note from studio.
Afternoon, my brethren.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Courtney, my suggestion, I answer that question. The much attention with the gospel song them with them say them are sing give. The attention is mostly bodily exercise. I don't know matter what man I go tell me say. When I did turn doing it, bodily exercise. And the day of Pentecost, when the church started, 3,000 souls saved. One day after they got preached. Bodily exercise, much less attendance, where we come to spirituality. So now,
I
That,
If you could
that's it,
just
Brother
explain that
Arnold.
bit to me, what bodily exercise, what do you mean by that? I think I have an idea, but I want to be sure before I respond.
I
What do you
believe he
think?
may be referring to one of the things I heard before. When it comes on to reggae with gospel, people tend to end up gyrating and doing other things. And so I believe that may be referring to when he talks about bodily exercise. It can be used for entertainment, it can, but probably not worship.
Yeah.
That's a thing I hear persons saying. I'm not sure if that's what Brother Arnold was referring to when he talks about body. But
Um, Again, I don't think we're totally honest with ourselves because you, we know what a typical praise and worship session looks like. So we're not going to get into now how you move the body, although that is important because we have seen. But the reality is that a praise and the Lord reigns. I mean, at some point, I used to wonder that when I see persons jumping and especially in praise and worship and 10, 15, 20 minutes, I am not sure if they are aware that at the end of that session, again, not putting down the exercise, but at the end of that 20 seconds, how they feel just before they start to go into tongues for that church. If you did that in a gym, your body would feel the same way. And I say that to say I'm associating praise and worship and a lot of movements to, oh, I reggae them I do, look on them. But music makes you move, both praise and worship and reggae. So I would not feel comfortable here to criticize the movement of persons praising the Lord, reflecting on David and him almost drop off in brief. Thank God he never
hey,
did that.
some good reggae
And,
David there
and
dance.
yeah, David dance.
For
And,
1 second, we
and
have to
some,
take a time signal. We have to
yeah,
take a time signal. Stick up here. It's
yeah.
6 p.m. in the evening. You're listening to Love 101, and it is the mailbox. It's now 6 o'clock. As we say, we come right back after these messages.
The time by Grace Could Move is
6 p.m.
Love stands the test of time. This Thursday, February 27, join us on To Have and To Hold as we celebrate an extraordinary love story. To Have and To Hold with host Dr. Colleen Beckles will feature Bishop Jr. and Pastor Nicola Hudson from the Victory Temple Deliverance Ministry Limited, who have been married for nearly 2 decades. Tune in as they share the secrets to their enduring love and how their faith has strengthened their bond. Don't miss the truly marvelous program To Have and To Hold this Thursday, February 27 at 5:30 p.m. with Dr. Colleen Beckles, only on the family station Love 101.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Yeah. Just wanted to finish the point by saying, I don't know who can be in the presence of Petra Kay and Joan Fleming and some of our renowned gospel artists and not move. So to pin the issue on the movement of the body, I think it's kind of short-sighted. Of course, we have to operate generally as Christians. And so I don't think the person was necessarily saying that reggae music is associated with a lot of movement that is unwholesome. I didn't hear that, but I just wanted to make the point that music makes you move, and that may be more an excuse than it is a real issue.
Thank you, Paul. Man oh man, if you're just joining us, this is the mailbox here every Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Kevin and Courtney in the place of very special guest Paul Barkley of Catalyst Crew and a number of other engagements. Paul, tell us a little bit about your journey. Why you're at this place? How did it start? Your interest in reggae music and all the fantastic things we have read about you. Give us a synopsis, if you can, of the journey.
When I was a child, I loved a lot of music. I loved music, all kinds of music. And I had the pleasure of a neighbor who bombarded us. He had a sound system and in a business right next door. And he doesn't play any, those days it was record, turntable.
LP
he doesn't play
45.
anything. He doesn't play anything under 10 years old. So that is where I was introduced to the Alton Ellis, the Dabby Dobson, the King's Teeth, and all of those guys. Yeah. And so a lot of the history of the music that I am able to understand, it started there. I remember as a child, I also said that, one of my dreams is to go to Africa. I haven't done that yet. And as a child, before I got involved in music, I said that I'm going to go to Africa. I'm not going to pay any airfare because music is going to do that for me. I haven't gone yet, But then, you heard Burning Spear, Bob Marley, and all of the popular guys, they were moving over there. So I grew up with that. Then I went to Monroe College, and there were a lot of dilapidated instruments, pianos especially, all over the place. So that is where I developed the knack to play. And then I joined a local community band, almost like what they call it, mentor band. So I was a part of a mentor band. I actually went and made a 5 from PVC pipe, and I played guitar. And long story short, I did something that was supposed to be wrong at Monroe College, and it was a music class. And the reward I got for that was to see Monty Alexander in the Pegasus.
Wow.
So imagine me like a barefoot boy from country in the Pegasus seeing Monty Alexander. So that opens up a whole nother scope in terms of music for me. And came to Kingston, was still very involved in church. Apart from church activities, early. The first group I played for, apart from a trip from my church, was the Grace Trillers. And you know that once that happens to you, you are baptized into history.
Yes, man.
History. There is no prolific musician out of Jamaica that is over 40, 45 that has not played with the Grace Trillers. So that was a baptism of experience, business. I believe my love for the business aspect of music came from my admiration of Noel Willis in terms of how he runs the business. At one point, I realized that from an idea to a VCR video, he owns every means of production. So I was around persons like that.
Yeah.
And then, can you imagine me getting to the stage where Sandra Brooks left Grace Trillers and I was the band leader for her, the first band leader. And then Shouter Brothers wanted to transition to reggae. I was there to the point where they kind of got excommunicated because they said, the man them start the Bob Marley type music. And we even get some battles on stage in Southborough as well. But that led me into Portmore Vision Choir. So you see the transition. None of these things I'm prepared for, except that I was just open and available. And I believe my life as a Jamaican reggae fanima, we call it in our circles, in the music circles. They said Toots was a reggae fanima. He was the greatest man, And I believe that for me, my purpose as a Christian, my purpose as a Jamaican is to use this God-given goal, this gift, to take the message of Christ to the world. So here comes Judy Mowat, got saved in the church that I was in. After about 2 years, they wanted her, because Judy, as Carlene and some of those other guys, when they became Christians, they really took some time, and San too. Well, I soon get to San. They took some time and really understood what Christianity is about, the adjustments that they had to make. I appreciate that about them, the adjustments that they had to make income-wise and things. And I was in the middle of Sister Judy Mowat doing that. But then about 2 years after she was there, she wanted to help the church with a fundraising, with a concert. Now, knowing who I am, I stayed up at night. I couldn't get the kind of reggae that I want to learn from church or otherwise. So anyway, there's a Sunsplash, the Reggae Bash, the Sumfest. I stayed up at night and taped those shows on metal cassettes to make sure that I can preserve them. So when Sister Judy came into the rehearsal that I organized for her, she said, but what is this? Only 809 is the most prolific backing band that has passed through Jamaica. 809. So when she came in, she said, where am I getting this from? Only 809 play them songs here like this. So here's like a church band now, this big icon lady coming into the church, expecting some little fanfare knock. When she came in, she heard the sounds that she was comfortable with on the stage. And so there was a band there, to the extent where, here's the crux of the matter now, where the business aspect came in for me. We became very close, and I became a dignified gopher for Digimon. But I have a tape for drop down a Tough Gang. You can do it for me. But pick up them. You can follow line. Me go up there. So I pick up some background vocals and carry on the studio. Me up and down, up and down, up and down. And what I didn't realize at the time, when I go around at Gussie Clark, he was eventually my first publisher and one of the most knowledgeable person in the business in Jamaica. So I published for him for 6 years because I knew him, but I was just a gopher when I met him. Similar thing with Tough Gang and all around, to cut the story short. But then my first album, the first album that I produced, was Judy Mowat's first gospel album.
Wow.
Without any kind of major experience as a gopher. This now led me into Papa San, which was the transition from leaving my regular big job with a company car and gas every month, them kind of thing I'm moving from, to do full-time music. And I was a band leader for God Squad, which is Papa San's band at the time. That moved me into no producing and writing the song No Power on Earth for George Nooks. And so I had to make a choice at some point to step into my own arena. Catalyst Crew from there, and then all the other industry associations came. The story is a little more, but I kind of give you an idea of the transition and the growth. Yeah.
You know, with you saying that, Paul, I want to read this message, this WhatsApp message that says, first time getting a chance to catch the Mailbox program. And this was a fulfilling discussion. Paul is the father of my high school friend. And the first time we met was at his studio. And that short period, I learned a lot about music, and it impacted how I used my voice as a vocalist. Mr. Barkley is a national treasure, and I agree with him 100% that you are. Paul, you have gone across both secular and Christian. What were the challenges for you during those periods? Was there any time that you questioned whether or not you'd stay in Christianity, or you was there any of those challenges?
Always, especially when I was not touring with Papa San or Carlene and Sister Carlene Davis or any one of those guys. Because on that side of the fence, it's kind of similar to you having a job.
Yeah.
So you know the income is not guaranteed, but you know that once you work, you're getting paid. As opposed to now when I was the founder of Catalyst Crew, and my vision and my vision for Catalyst Crew was to use the platform of Catalyst Crew to manifest what we saw as the Wailers Band or Third World Band or Fab Five. So the popularity of those bands and what they were doing, my vision for Catalyst Crew was to, not for popularity, you know, but the impact that they were making, because can you make an impact unless you have some notoriety or some popularity? Yes, but to what extent? God has given us this music, and where evangelism is concerned, mass evangelism is reggae music.
Especially for men, you know, Paul, especially for men.
Which is it Papa San used to say on stage when I was working with him. Rasta no have church, but the whole world full of Rasta. What did that? It's the music. And so, where is Jesus Christ and the message at that level in the music? And so, you know, I felt a lot of times. Now, I knew what it meant to be cancelled long before cancellation get popular. Long before. Yeah. Well, years after, I remember, won't call his name either, but there was a meeting in Mandeville of some clergy. And one of the basis of that meeting in Mandeville at Moorlands was, so what is our response to this Catalyst Crew? Yeah, the brethren say, boy, that is it. Ibo Cooper, bless his soul, before he died, my last drummer, he's now playing for, I think, Chronics and Beanie Man. When he came to Catalyst Crew, it was his first band. I went to Ibo and said, I want a drummer because my drummer gone for him, which was Johnny, one of the greatest drummers I know.
Yep.
Johnny migrated, so I needed a drummer. So after he set me up on this drummer now, he said, so how the music thing are going? He said, come here, man, let me tell you something. This is Ibo Cooper now, who's not necessarily a Christian, and he's supposed to be a Rastafarian. He said, come here, let me show you something, man. Let me show you why I get a fight from the church. It's because the church feel like you fight them. With songs like Ahoo, stole the Babylonian garment, Ahoo, make Jamaica seem like it condemned, Christians stop camp, in the camp, principalities and powers Africa. Songs like that, and Two Masters and those kind of songs. To me, if it's a John the Baptist thing, the music that I do must have meaning, and it mustn't be watered down by what a group, or if it is the Bible, let me suffer, because I am putting music to the truth. All of my music that I write are Bible based. So the cancellation came with that, even from my peers. But that's not a big deal. That's what it is what it is. So during those times,
Paul,
during those
Paul,
yes,
Paul, we're gonna take one more break. I want to give you the full leverage,
yes,
Man on man, we're having conversation with Paul Barkley, Courtney, and Kevin in the place. We go to the studio, then we'll be right back after this.
give thanks.
Man, yes. Strong man, integrity man. To Caribbean Airlines.
Caribbean Airlines is giving away prizes you love. Strike up your vibes and your vocals to get ready to call in and sing the Caribbean Airlines jingle for your chance to win airline tickets. Tune in Monday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. during 11 in the morning. Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. during Morning Express. Thursday and Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. during Alive. Call us and give us the access phrase, home is where the heart is. Welcome home with Caribbean Airlines and give us your best version of the Caribbean Airlines new jingle. Home is where the heart is, and you can win a flight from Caribbean Airlines. Visit Caribbean Airlines YouTube channel to listen and learn the jingle. Welcome home.
Home is where the heart is. We've seen a lot of our customers make some good moves over the years. Whether it's sharing a hug with a friend you haven't seen in a long time or sharing a meal, Grace has been there. So let's keep making these moments together, because rest assured, every time you choose Grace, you know you're making a good move. Always a good move when you're moving with Grace. I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man.
Welcome back to the program, The Mailbox. You're live on Love 101. I'm Courtney Morrison along with Kevin Bailey as co-host. Our guest is Paul Barkley. The theme is Journey Through Reggae, Part 2. And we have a national treasure with us, indeed. A man who has gone across every gamut of the gospel music industry and also the secular music industry. Wealth of knowledge. We need to put you in a Hall of Fame somewhere in a Paul. I don't know where, but we need, we know you have a lifetime award, but we need more than that. You're in the Hall of Faith already. Awesome stuff. I love that. This is our final segment. Catalyst Crew and those groups, change. With Patrick Kitson, Andrew Lawrence, Sir Wright on the bass, all these groups, Culture Change or Cross Culture with Andrew Stone, can our reggae music influence our men for better? You were talking a little bit about the evangelism, our men and our boys, especially. Is it something that you think is missing from our church that can help in pulling them to church? You made a point that, boy, I have to write it down and put your name beside it. Rasta don't have church, but them affect the entire place. That's amazing, But can this music influence our men and our boys especially?
What we lack, in answer to that directly, is reasoning. Man and man love reasoning. At home, in our little groups, at work, man love reasoning. Man love sit down and just hear man or woman talk. And if we are truthful to ourselves, that's it. What is the main vehicle to carry the message of Rastafari? What is it? Reasoning. Every corner. I meet some guys when I used to walk the streets of in my church at Rosetown. I met some knowledgeable young youths. When you hear them, man, they reason on world politics and things that are happening in Jamaica politically. The man, them can't read, them can't write. But when you hear them articulate, because they sit at the feet of the elders, from them a youth, and listen them a reasoning. And some of them, as we would say, gets indoctrinated by them. So what happened to the indoctrination in the church? What happens to that level of interaction between? I have observed that it's only a few pastors love enough man around them. You say it. Look for yourself.
So the fact,
yes,
it is true, but it sounds so
so now we.
yes on our way, So yeah,
but it's true.
But I'm answering the question without you.
Yes.
I'm not going to be drawn. Having felt what it means and understand what it means to be cancelled, although it wouldn't bother me now. The purpose for what I'm saying is not to fire shots from left, right, and center at the church. One of the challenges I had, if I can say, is that I remember the days when I would come and Nigel Wilkins would be in studio. And those days, when we were doing well, we would sit in the studio from 7 o'clock and we leave 11 or 12. We're not on the program all the time now, but we'll get a chance to share and, we'll interact. And that is how I shared my views, which some of it, persons treat it like how they did. So like now I'm saying, just think about it and tell me a lot of pastors, maybe internationally, who any pastor you see with a lot of men around them, even at the leadership level, is a pastor with a thriving youth ministry. Youth, not only men, youth ministry. And I believe, to answer your question, our Christianity and the way we practice it, it is more appealing to women. We hear that all the time, and we can break it down if we want. We might not have the time on the program to break it down. But man love ask question. Man love to know, so why are we doing that, Pastor? Why are we going on there, sir? You're an accountant or you're an auditor in the church or wherever. And you just sit down and see decisions I make. And in my case, sometimes the decision not really line up, but you have to follow the leader. And so some of those things, if you examine them, are the reasons why men are not drawn to the church, because the music and the programs of the church are far more emotionally driven, especially with this relationship we have with God, than for say, boy, we're gonna play some domino over Hellshire and talk to some man. We're going into the community to help build the side of a house or something like that. Men are more drawn to that, even though it's working. If some of the churches has had more programs like that, you'll find that it will encourage the men in the church and it will more appeal to men in the community to interact with the church. I'll give you an example. After playing about 13 years straight, one Sunday I missed at Rosetown, Mark Chung and I decided to walk the community rather than playing. So I got a person to play bass with me. I taught him to play the bass, and so you don't know the difference. He's now the music director there. Sat him down 2 basses and he was playing while me playing. And when I realized he came mad in himself now, me God, evangelism time. Mark Chung and I used to walk the community of Rosetown. And one story I want to leave with you guys. There was a lady at the end of Tuareg Crescenta thing. Every day we pass there, we just say, hey, mommy, how you doing? Everything all right? Hey, man, all right, see you later. Next week, mommy, I wash, man. Blah, blah, blah. So it was a week, mommy. And after about 4 or 5 weeks, we not tell her about no Jesus or the church up the side. And our mission was just to be a presence in our community like that. Listen me, about this 5th week, Mark can be my witness. When we approaching the little the gate, which is fenced up, and you know how the inner city stay. You can only look through the hole because it's as what you call it, zinc? It's a zinc. Is the door. When she saw us coming, this is what we heard, and we were shocked. Susie, On hurry up and go to bed and come go to church. Because from me there, me not see nobody pay so much interest in now. So no come hurry up and go to church. We have never yet said we're inviting you to church. We have never yet interacted with our children. All we did was become a presence. I remember some years ago, Reverend Sam Vassar, who is my beloved pastor, learned a lot from him on the Bible side. He said, the church is the representation of Christ in the community. So when me and Mark was walking the community, we were representing Christ without preaching to her. And after 4 or 5 weeks, when she saw us coming, she was sending her children to church. They never used to go to church. And that is the kind of impact that I believe men can have. Or the church, in the same way they would focus on evangelism in Easter, because we know that's how it goes. I believe they should have that focus on engaging more men, and we would see a difference.
Wow. Thank you, Paul.
Awesome.
We have a question here.
Yes.
Is there any empirical data on the impact of reggae music on evangelism?
If there's any, and I have the time, I could explain what it is, because it's, at the end of the day, it's negligible. Based on my first argument, that when you look at the impact of reggae globally and the impact of gospel reggae globally, it's not even on the graph if you're dealing with numbers. So by virtue of the same thing, now ex-gospel artists might have lived comfortable. Why gospel artists might have lived decent, but that's not what we're talking about. Talking about evangelism, mass evangelism, and what comes from that. I believe it is the impact. There is some impact, but it is negligible compared to Bob Marley, Burning Spear, Spice, Luciano. If you get what they are, all Jamaicans, Them come from sometimes humbler beginnings than us. They had less than us to start with as gospel artists, but yet there is no impact. And if you check the church and the impact that the church has or can have on the Jamaican society, if there were more, I think I would encourage Pastor Al Miller to do what he can to have some serious session with the church, because as I'm speaking, the impact that, well, maybe that is if they can work together. That's another thing, but this is music we're discussing. But let us say the church could work together. Look at the kind of impact that we could have when you look at what the African community has done in coming together and deciding that, look, reggae is out there and we want our thing. Even though Afrobeat is a kind of derivative from reggae, it's some serious planning went into that for over 20 years, for over 15, 20 years. So I'm saying, if we wanted to have an impact on global evangelism, right? Jamaica should be the first name in that sentence, if we wanted to. If we found a way to, like the Bible says, lay our hands on them, bless them, and send them. I think
Paul, you probably have to end on that word of send them, Time
Yeah.
is up. Time is up.
Yeah.
But indeed, I do believe you need to start some podcast or something and see how much we can galvanize what's happening. Eva says, good evening. Michelle says, gospel reggae is definitely relevant as a tool for reaching some men. Lisa Dillon, preach, teach, minister Paul. So with the locks there, Paul. Greetings, I'm gospel artist and I sing gospel and revival. With the locks them there. Hello, Paul. Yeah, I'm Gene Rodney from Black River in St. Elizabeth. We both go to school in Black River.
Yeah.
Paul, I know you well. We both know each other. My mom is Miss Inez.
I'm taking off all the trappings that gave me problems over the years. I used to have to say
to close.
To close. I have something to say. When I'm speaking, listen to what you hear. Don't watch the here.
The here. Paul, why we have to go? So, thank you. That was Mr. Paul Barkley, veteran songwriter, producer, and founder of Catalyst Crew. Really appreciate the conversation. So much more I know you could have been saying. Thanks to Dr. Nadine Blair, Operations Programs Manager, Jermaine Johnson, our producer. We end the show with this quote: "My music is the spiritual expression of what I am. My faith, my knowledge, my being." John Coltrane.
Wow.
That's it for our show this week. Catch you on Wednesday, March 12, 2025. Of next week is Ash Wednesday. Same place, same time inside the mailbox. The mailbox was brought to you today by Solid PVC Pipes, manufactured in Jamaica by Fosrich Company Limited. Until next week, Monday.
Yeah. Thank you, Sir Paul. Blessings.
Blessings.
I am a man, yes. Strong man. Integrity man. I am a man.
Need to brighten up your dimly lit spaces while saving on electricity? Look no further. Fosrich is having an up to 50% off solar lighting sale from now until February 28. Solar garden lamps, wall mounts, and the solar flood lamps. Visit us in Kingston, Mandeville, Draxall, and Montego Bay. Call us at 876-937-5099. Don't miss this solar lighting sale from now until February 28. Open Sundays, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Baby.